Hey everyone, how's it going? It's Luke from A Taste of AZ. Today we've got an awesome guest on the podcast, Mark Rhine of Rhiba Farms. Mark's farm is one of the coolest we've ever seen, growing everything from mushrooms to hemp. So sit back and relax, because this is an awesome episode.
All right, well, welcome back. Another episode of A Taste of AZ. We've got my man, Luke Irvin, as my co-host. Luke.
How's it going?
Dude, that's a setup you have there. Did Paige do that? Did she set?
Yeah, you know how she is.
Yeah, that's not the work of a man right there. That's you see what me and Mark have. That's the work of men. So, tell Paige,
very
nice
simple
job. Yes. Our guest is Mark Rhine. Mark, dude, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely, man.
Pleasure to get out of the sun and the heat.
Yeah.
It came early this year.
It came early and it came quick. Like it went from like 80 to like 100.
Yeah, there were no 90s.
No. No. So Mark is owner of Rhiba Farms in Santan Valley, right? It's in Santan.
Correct.
You just the single location at this point? Because I know you had a couple at one point, right?
Yeah. Yeah, it's just a single location at this time.
Gotcha. So, Mark, what's going on now, right? We know the food and beverage industry is getting hit really, really hard. You are a huge contributor to the amazing food that we have here in the state.
For us, things really haven't changed that much. We've worked every day through this thing. And we, when we meet in the mornings, we all think and look and talk to each other. We're working to make sure that regular people can stay home and isolate. For us, our bank accounts are in the fields. We're in the spring summer turn right now, so we've got plenty of crops going in. We had the spring plant, and we didn't have a lot of labor to help us, so I did get out and get some volunteers. We've got 2,500 tomato plants in, 1,000 cucumber, squash, zucchini, and now we're finishing up too with some of the spring crop. And when in March we were geared up heavy for the tourist season, just like all the farmers are and the chefs. And it's always been, at least I've only been doing this now for about 10 years, but right around when Cactus League ends, that last weekend of Cactus League ball, the tourist season kind of goes away. The curtain, everything's get a little slower, and the tourists bail. We didn't get that tourist season this year. We all got shut off before that, and we were left holding a whole bunch of food. And unfortunately, I don't have a hardware store outside. My food will rot. So, but we're a pretty small farm. We bounced, we reacted, came up with a big farm box program. A couple of the dynamic leaders in the restaurant industry, like Chris Bianco, Penny Bianco on Central, started doing a curbside service, threw our farm boxes out to all of downtown Phoenix as part of his curbside service. Same with Phoenix City Grill and Micah. And then that whole program just kept expanding for us. Now we're looking at doing the same type of setup with 24 Carats over in Tempe, Crepe Bar, Jeff, and he's got his buddy over in Chandler who have really gotten into the same idea, doing a curbside service. Of course, Mr. Jeff or Chef Jeff is our all-star on TV. He's our super chef right now. So he wants to do a cooking show on Saturdays using the farm box, giving people ideas on what to do. And I think they're going to try and roll out that program here in the next couple of weeks. So that sounds very exciting. I'm really happy that, for a small guy, that I'm a part of that activity. It will help us on the social medias. The Saturday markets have been rock and rolling. I think the pandemic has awakened a lot of people to their general health. I think immune system talk now so all of a sudden means something to people. And I'm really hoping when we get past all of this, which I'm sure we will, that we just don't get back into our comfort zone and go into the grocery store and kind of ignore the little farmers. But our local little farm stand here in Santan is, exploded with people. And and it's really been fun to watch and meet all the new folks and all the neighbors that we support. Same with the Gilbert Farmers Market, which I'm a part of. They're under a little bit heavier restriction because of the city and the town of Gilbert wanting to be very, very careful about, the social distancing and face masks and gloves and everybody staying very sanitary. For us at the farm, we'll do our distancing thing, but we're all believers of immune system, and we're pulling food right out of the dirt to feed the people. So that's kind of one of the unique things here. If we run out of beets or carrots or lettuce, we just go into the fields and pull it and wash it, and everybody just kind of stands there and looks at us with their mouth open going, holy shit, is that what it looks like when it comes out of the dirt? So it's been fun, although it's a lot of hard work, but it helps us with that, establish that role in the community. And I've always been I'm a staunch supporter of small farms. We should have them sprinkled all over the valley. In rural situations like where I'm at, and also in more of the cityscapes too, where, we can support 30 or 50 families without any problems. Sure, you're not going to eat, convenient food, or, you're not going to eat what you're going to find in the grocery store. You're going to eat what the farmers are going to be able to grow at that particular season. And, you might not get what, kiwi or anything like that, but we grow some pretty weird food, that's for sure.
Are you trying to tell me that there's no mozzarella stick plant out there, Mark?
No mozzarella sticks out here.
Damn, man, you almost had me convinced. But yeah. So what really intrigues me about you, Mark, is and I mean, every time I talk to you, like, I'm just blown away by your knowledge and your passion for this. But you just mentioned 10 years you've been in this, so it's not like you've been a farmer for, it's not you grew up in generations of it. So, and to go from because you were in construction before, right?
I was a broadband contractor for the phone company for 14 years.
And then 10 years of farming, yet within that 10 years, you're able to get guys like Chris Bianco and Jeff Krause that are like huge advocates of you. Like, how do you think that happened?
I think it's the motto here is we're true to the food. So you're not going to get huge volumes out of my farm, but you're going to get pure nutrient dense. We're organically certified on the microgreen side. I'm not certified over on the soil side, just simply because of what they require. And when you get deep into the organic certification, it's kind of watered down from what it used to be in its purity. But for me, again, I don't grow the commodity crops, and the chefs like weird food. So that's always been an attraction to them, to grow weird food and what I can come up with. And quite often we, even in our food boxes or on my weekly restaurant list, I'll have a chef's challenge, and we'll throw stuff at them that they've never seen before. And they've come up with some pretty cool ideas, and some of the chefs really get into it. Other chefs, they'll pick and choose what they want to get. We're one of the very few mushroom growers in the valley too. So they love the specialty mushrooms, and my prices are very affordable. So, and now in this world, the chef world, is most chefs have an interest in the business. So they have they have skin in the game. So they're very price conscious on what they're buying for their meals, and, on their specials. And, they just aren't going to go spend, a couple $1,000s on a special just for a specialty mushroom. They're going to be picky about what they can make and what they can sell. So, chefs they're a big part of our business, and it's a personality. And that's one of the reasons why I do my own deliveries. I do have another person that helps me with deliveries, but the chefs want to talk to the farmer. They want to know what's going on. They want to know what's going on in the dirt. And also, when they inspect your food, they want to know why there's holes in the leaves of their stuff. And, I'm right there. I'm the guy that, they can't point the finger at anybody else. This is what you get when you don't spray pesticide or herbicide. Yeah. It's the beginning of the season. It's the end of the season. This is what's coming. Everybody loves that first pick. And it's always the best and the juiciest. And then as the season progresses, like tomatoes, I'm super passionate about my tomatoes, and I'm never the first guy out with tomatoes. I'm usually midstream, and the first guy out is going to be somebody growing them in a hothouse, and he's got his spring tomatoes, and he'll have them out early, and he's going to be able to pull top dollar because he does have his tomatoes out early. And for me, I'm not going to grow 14 different kinds. I'll grow 3 or 4, but they'll be pure and they'll be beautiful. I'll probably be the last guy with tomatoes simply because I go so late. But they are, a tomato is not a commodity crop in my way of thinking. It is it's a work of art and Mother Nature. And when you eat a tomato, there's just only certain ways to eat them, and there's only certain ones to grow. So to, get them like little green tennis balls as you do in the grocery store that are grown in Florida 2 months ago and gassed and all the other shit they do to them, just so you can have tomatoes in December, to me, it's a waste. But and I think that feeling or that passion carried across to the chefs. Now, there are several chefs that don't like me or don't like what I grow, or they won't pay for the food, that they won't pay my prices either. So chefs, like farmers, we all have personalities. Some of us get along really well, others don't. And I'm way okay with that. There's 5 million people in this valley, and here I'm on little 3.3 acre farm. Who am I to say who's good, who's bad? But the one thing I think of the small farmers that angers most of us are the resellers. And I don't know if you guys have ever touched on the reseller piece, but there is that farmers market field out there. I think there's 54 or 55 farmers markets now in the valley, and there's realistically only about 21 or 22 farmers, and not all of us can be at every farmer's market. So who are all these other guys that are selling their food, that are buying them from distributors? And there is no law, or there's no, all the farmers know who they are, but that, to me, that's deception. And if they're buying their food from a distributor, and then putting it in their boxes and saying not where it's really coming from, or going to Costco and buying stuff, or I have people yelling at me because I don't have watermelon ready in May. There's no watermelon in May. And they go, well, why is that? And I go, well, let's think about it. Watermelon takes 88 days to grow. It's got to have a lifespan of over 12 hours a day. And so we get into this long discussion, and it's May. Okay, let's go back 88 days from May. It's December. Where are we going to find who's going to be growing watermelon in December?
Yeah.
Well, probably somebody south of the equator.
Yeah.
So, let alone be local. Yeah. Well, Sprouts had it. No. They say it's organic. So, they can say what they got to say. But so those are the frustrating things that kind of get to you. But really, when it all comes down to it, is this is not work for a lot of money. This is work of passion. You're not going to get rich being a small farmer.
Yeah.
But it is the most, before in my construction livelihood, and before that, I was in even more construction, but where we could pay the bills, I never felt so passionate about my job or my work. And, you can't, I have people that will come up to me and give me a hug that I don't know who they are, but they're a cancer survivor, and they've been eating my food now for years, and they're still alive. And that's, it's a really good feeling knowing that certain people are following your food that are staying alive just because they can't go to the grocery store. They need nutrient density. They've got to have fresh harvested food. They've taken that left turn away from Western medicine. They're not going to believe in, more chemicals to poison their body to get rid of their cancers or whatever their ailments are. So, that's great. And it's very humbling to be able to do that for people. And to me, it's a service. And, I've taken enough from this earth, and now it's my time to give back. Whoever takes over this farm after me is just going to get a gem. We've planted over 400 trees. Most of those trees I won't be able to benefit anything from because they'll be too young before the business. So I'm just praying that when whoever this farm that takes over the farm doesn't tear out everything and put in, 6 little McMansions and call it the farm.
Maybe I'm going to
dumb name.
I'll start saving up some money right now, Mark. I'll take it over.
Yeah.
I'll put Luke to work, and my kids, but yeah, I'll take it.
There is a movement out there for the farm conservatory type thing where you can actually get your property zoned and where they can't do that kind of building. And I'm really interested in trying to chase those, and even to try and get ag status here in Pinell County, I'm far enough out that I'm in Pinell County. They say I'm too small and I've got to have a 10-acre piece in order to get that status. It's to save the land, I think, from the developers. One of the big reasons too why I went into the hemp farming was to help the cash flow to teach other farmers that, especially out here in Pinell, because of our water problems, and we know we have water problems coming. It's a lot of doom and gloom. So most of these guys that have the 1,000 to 5,000 acre tracts are waiting for the developers to come, and they're going to cash out and move. I'm trying to convince them not to do that. Stay. Save your land. We need land to grow food. We don't need any more rooftops.
Yeah.
I mean, all we're going to do there is we're going to, we're just feeding the rich more money, getting the banks and the developers and all the people in that line of business. You can't eat rooftops. But we need land to grow food in. And we're really fortunate here in Arizona with our weather. Granted, we have a huge water issue, but not too many other places in the United States you can grow year round and support. In the wintertime, Arizona's the largest leafy green grower in North America. So we need to support that system. And I've got the old timers here that think I'm crazier than a loon. In fact, my old business partner said I was batshit crazy because I invested my retirement in the farm. And, it's funny. I remember being younger and how much my desire was to have a lot of money and nice stuff. And as you get older, you don't need as much money. So, you find that what your imprint or your legacy that you want to leave, if you want to be remembered, it's not by how much money you've ever had in the bank, but it's by the amount of people that you've touched and planted seeds in young people to get them thinking on the right track. I think every home needs to be a unit of production, not a unit of consumption. So, grow your tomatoes, grow your food. I don't care if you sow or if you work on stuff or if you build things and sell it out of your house, but your home shouldn't cost you any money. You should be able to make an earning out of your house, especially now when everybody's home, that would pay your mortgages and your insurances and all that stuff just by selling it to your friends.
Yeah.
But then there's no taxes and the government wants to get involved. But anyway, back to the farmers here in Pinell County to show them that an acre of hemp can earn them $100,000 a year. And it's not really that much more work than what they're used to. That's kind of my goal right now. And we've come pretty close. Obviously, the pandemic hasn't helped with the hemp sales simply because most of the hemp shops are closed. But we have been able to turn crop. And it looks, it's going to be a dicey summer. We did a bunch of cloning this year, and cloning doesn't have a taproot. So I don't have anybody to ask or who I can rely on that's used to Arizona growing in that particular industry on what plants I can grow or how is this all going to work. So I did rely on some folks out of Colorado that have helped me considerably, but again, they've never grown in an Arizona summer. So yeah. I'll see how we do. And I've got a pretty good plant going in the ground right now. So, and we're sitting on a bunch of inventory. And if I can get through the summer, then, I can walk the walk and talk the talk with the boys here in Pinell County. And if any of them, and then they can just come out and see. And, most of us want to see how people are doing. They don't want to just listen. So we're hoping for a really good turnaround. And right now, my biggest seller in the hemp crop has nothing to do with the flower. It's the value-added products. We have an incredible hemp. We call it Rhino Nectar. It's a hemp and honey mix. It's a hemp oil and honey mix that's just beautiful. Then we also have our hemp oils, skin creams, and a salad dressing too.
Wow.
And all of that sells like wildfire. So I'm really excited about the value added piece. And then with our other vegetables going in too.
Yeah, man. Like, so things have changed a lot in 10 years, right? Like you evolve, you have to evolve, right? And
staying small has really helped me do that.
Yeah.
If I had a big machine with 50 people and, if I had a big, a fortress here only geared to do like salad greens, if I was stuck in the salad green world and all of my equipment was built for salad greens or leafy green production, monocropping, I would have been froze out and totally struggling and had to lay off 40 people. But, we're small. This is me and 3 others. So we have the ability to move around, and I'm very blessed with the team that I have working here. They're hardcore. And if I miss a payroll, they give me a couple extra days to scramble because, I've got to go buy boxes or I've got to fix the refrigerator on a truck and I don't have enough cash to pay them. They'll give me those 2 or 3 extra days, which has really been a blessing.
Yeah. They probably just love being part of it, man. It's
awesome. We're committed. We're not going to give up. I think if we crawl out of this thing, which we'll do hopefully within the next couple of weeks, we're going to see some pretty exciting stuff. There's going to be a lot of angry people out there, and they've been sitting in front of their computers for the last 50, 60 days on social media, fighting with each other. The keyboard cowboys or whatever, they're fighting, and everybody's always so mean on a computer. It just blows me away. And then you go up and meet them, and they would never say that shit to your face.
No.
Never. No. They don't have the balls to do it. So that's why keyboard commandos. It's just, and everybody hates this or hates that. But I think we're going to come out of this thing with dynamic energy, and I'm still really feeling it for my restaurant buddies because who's going to be afraid to go and sit down at a restaurant? Who are they going to wear their masks into a bar and go have a beer? You can't joke at it or tease them. Nobody's here has worn a mask, and we haven't done any of that stuff. We believe in our immune system. So, and it's sick. So if you get sick, you go home, and it's something that we don't need to close the economy down for by any means. But I'm not in control of those things. I just got to play with the rules, just like you guys do.
Yeah. So Mark, let's go back to why did you even get into this in the first place? I mean, you were a contractor.
I did it for health reasons, believe it or not. I was extremely overweight. I used to top out over 300 pounds, and our contracting company had gotten rather large. We were in 5 states, 5 different cities, and 3 different states. We had over 85 employees, and I spent most of my time on an airplane flying around to the other cities. So my health was depleted tremendously. I was drinking way, way too excessively, eating horrible food, not sleeping well. And my body started talking back to me. And I'm a little bit older than you guys, so I didn't have the energy that I used to. And I got into wheatgrass juicing, and it really changed my life. So I convinced my partner at the old building to build a greenhouse in the back lot so I could grow my wheatgrass just as something fun to do. And then it started catching on that I was growing grass and drinking grass. And believe it or not, somebody caught wind of what I was doing back there, and we got a Whole Foods account, which
for just like a hobby or just like a personal use crop.
Yeah. And so, this old Italian guy comes up, and I hear you're growing a lot of grass for the people around here, blah, blah, blah. And would you be able to grow for us? And we didn't even have the farm. Nothing was even open. We were a broadband company.
Yeah.
And I go, so why doesn't anybody grow grass in the valley? He goes, it's too hard, it's too hot, blah, blah, blah. But if you could do this for us, we're buying it out of California. If you could do it for this much money, we would want to buy local.
Yeah.
So, of course, the wheels got turning, and we eventually decided we were going to grow grass. So, and I'm a guy that needs to see processes in place. So we went to Northern California and went and visited wheatgrass farms, and that's when we discovered microgreens, which was huge, and why you grow them both together. And so we decided to give it a try and ran with the Whole Foods thing, and quickly learned why people don't grow grass in the valley. I'm still the largest grass grower in the valley, but I do it all indoor now. And back then I was doing it in the greenhouse, so I'd have to shut down every summer. And of course, nobody likes, you got to start with all your customer base all over again the next fall. And the Whole Foods wanted the ability to order 200 cases from us one week and 80 cases the next week and 16 cases the week following, when we don't. And you have to plant. It's really nice because from seed to harvest, it really is a 10 to 14 day turn, but you still have to plan for these guys. And so that got to be really bumpy. And then we picked up a distributor. Back then it was Peddler and Sons. And they continued on even after we kind of shied away from the Whole Foods contract. And then we bought a house out of foreclosure over in Gilbert, over by the new temple. And I went down to U of A and discovered aquaponics. And when I got into aquaponics, which is a vegetable system where you grow food with fish, that really got me fired up on this whole food thing. And at that time, my partner and I, there were only two places doing aquaponics training. One of them is on the Big Island in Hawaii called Friendly Aquaponics, and the other one was University of Virgin Islands down south. So we decided to go to Hawaii. Why not? Let's go have some fun, play on the beach, and take this class and see what it's all about.
And then you're going to tell them. Then you're going to tell them that we're going to use fish to grow grass in the desert.
Yeah. They're like,
no wonder your ex-partner said you were batshit crazy, Mark. Come on, man.
Got it. That's pretty much how it all happened. Well, I totally fell in love with the whole system.
Yeah.
And so we built an aquaponics system. We were the first commercial aquaponics grower in the city, and we did it on a parking lot on asphalt. That's how dumb I was, but we learned quickly how silly that and how hard it was to. And we were also back into growing commodity crops. We were only growing lettuce at that time, and to grow 200 pounds of lettuce every week in and week out, and the numbers just didn't work. The aquaponics system did not perform. It did great in the fall and the spring, just like everything else. And then when I moved out to the property that we bought out of foreclosure in Gilbert, and it had 2.5 acres on it, and built a giant aquaponic system out there, completely different of the one we had in the building. And then at that time we sold the business, and then my business partner wanted me to buy him out. I didn't have the cash to buy him out, so we had to sell the properties, and it was kind of like a business divorce where you sell everything and then we split the cash and shake hands and part friends. So all of that had to go down, and it was much, it took a year to get that done. So I had to move out of the ranch house, and that's when I came out here. So this would be the third farm that I've built in the 10 years, too, in an amazing amount of time and a lot of different thinking. And I really fell in love with soil growing, and then now I'm into regenerative agriculture. I still have 2 giant aquaponic systems, but I ran out of money, so I haven't built them again. I brought them along with me, and so that's part of my junk pile. People consider me a hoarder. I don't know any farmer that doesn't hoard stuff, because whenever you need something, if you don't have it, you got to go buy it new.
Yeah. And
then if you buy it new, especially if you you have it and you can't find it, and then you got to buy it new, it just really pisses you off.
Yeah.
So, we rebuild everything 2 or 3 times, and until we know for sure before. And if it's made out of metal, it probably is not going to get thrown away.
Lots of uses for some old metal, right?
Yeah, everybody's got a welding torch.
Yeah.
We'll create something with it.
What one thing you mentioned just a little bit ago, you mentioned kids, right? And that's a big part of what you do. I've seen a lot of things you do where you have like classes that come out and you're educating them on what type of things do you do?
Well, mostly, we get involved with Tamara and the Blue Watermelon Group, and when she brought out her schools, I get quite a few teachers that want to, that have ag classes in the local high school. So there's a real dynamic lady here at Queen Creek. She brings her kids out every term, and basically it's a farm tour, and we're there to kind of just show the kids what we do and how we do it. And in today's world, and even the farmers markets, you are constantly educating people on how food grows. And nobody knows what a potato looks like underground, or what it looks like on the top of the ground, or what carrots look like on top of the ground. And so to have a young person pull a carrot out of the ground and see that bright orange thing come out of the dirt, and then you wash it off, or you just hand it to them and make them eat it dirty, and they get all crazy, and it's not
Build that immune system up, man.
Yeah,
right?
shit, that's what it's all about. How stuff grows. And again, I don't care what time of year it is, we've always got something crazy going on. And then we with the regenerative side of our agriculture, I started with chickens and ducks. I still have chickens and ducks, but they didn't really do the fields quick enough for us that I needed to turn the fields in order to keep the food ball rolling. So then we tried goats, and the goats they ate all of the irrigation. They were very destructive. They're fun, but they're very, very destructive on the farm. And then I tried pigs, loved the pigs too. But again, I couldn't keep a fence, because I needed portable fences to move everything around. And now we have sheep, and the sheep are really, really cool, and they eat fast, and they respect the electric fence, and they're easy to maintain. And even in the harsh weather that we have, and I don't own any animals. I just borrow people's animals, and they love it because it's free food, and we just keep marching them around, and we keep an eye on them for them. So the people that we're working with, Hartquist Hollow Farms right now, and they just keep moving sheep in and out of here, and they buy and sell. And it's a it's a great symbiotic relationship with another farmer. And they love it because their animals come back all nice and fat and full of great food that they didn't have to pay for any food. So, and for us, they're eating our fields down, and saves tons and tons of labor. So with the kids, to show them that kind of symbiotic relationship, so that they can start understanding really the miracle of growing food. And when I also teach some college classes with Mesa Community College, and I just got off of my first Zoom class, was a couple of weeks ago.
Nice.
Up at Yavapai Community College in their aquaculture class. Both of those professors bring me in, and they want the straight talk. They've been watching the internet, and all of the some of that stuff is just complete BS, and the riches that they're going to make doing this work, and I'll give them the realities of what it really all costs, and if you want to go after it. And I'm hoping that out of the 200 or 300 people that I talk to, the 2 or 3 will grab onto it. And some people have the touch, and you can see it. And other people say, well, I can't grow anything. So, well, you really can. I mean, growing is not the hard part.
Yeah.
Nature will do it. It just depends on what you're thinking. Even when you're sowing seeds, I always tell everybody when we're out there doing it, you got to think good thoughts. I mean, you got to have positive energy doing this. Being a farmer is you have to stay optimistic. If you're going to go out there and worry about bills, and the sky is falling, and worry about your girlfriend or your boyfriend or whatever you got going on, you're not gonna, I'm a firm believer in positive energy keeps things moving, and biodynamic agriculture. We follow a lot of those principles, where we're vortexing, and so that's part of the batshit craziness of the way I grow food. So
I was going to ask you, what is that? What you were talking about, the vortexing? What is?
Yeah, vortexing is I vortex liquids in our compost tea brewer, which is very dynamic. We make all of our own compost, but we spin the water. It's a right spin to build energy, and it's a left spin to expel energy. And it really comes from nature if you study how water works, and even if you look at the solar system, how it spins. Which way does the solar system spin from the sun? And if you start paying attention to everything around you, and even in our microgreens grow, we plant to the moon. We found that even planting seeds indoor, the 3 days of the full moon, we have a different germination ratio than we do for the 3 days of the new moon. So to start getting that understanding that we are not this, we're part of a system. We're all energy, and we're just a piece of it. We're not, this dominant. We aren't in charge by any means.
Yeah, right.
We might think we are, but
yeah.
I remember this is a few years back, probably before you were born. But when I was up in Portland, when Mount St. Helens blew, we were actually at a Grateful Dead concert, and they shut the place down. And when we walked out of the Memorial Coliseum in that cloud of ash, it was the most amazing physical thing I had ever experienced. And we couldn't even, just driving the cars it wasn't like a snowstorm. It was mud. It was this, and it was insane.
Yeah.
And to think that one little mountain that blew, 80 miles away from the city, and the mountain really blew earlier in the day, but it took a while for the ash to get to us. But when it coated the city, it crippled us. I mean, there were dead. Everything was dead.
Yeah.
I mean, even we were lucky the power stayed on. But I remember driving home, or trying to get home. We ended up pulling over and staying in the car until the ashfall stopped. But which most everybody else did too, and that was a pretty scary feeling.
That glimpse into Mother Nature of saying, "Do whatever you want. I'm in charge here." Yeah.
Just, what? What do you mean a mountain blew? What?
It's
in Portland, Oregon?
Well, our tracking charts here said that shouldn't have happened. Mother Nature's like, well, guess what, motherfuckers?
Yeah. It's like, what? Yeah. And even, after it happened, it blew a few more times, but obviously not with the same power as the first one. And then the gardens that spring afterwards were just elated because of all the mineral fallout. They had the biggest strawberry harvests of 25 years, and and there's Mother Nature working for you. But I've never lived or been through anything like that, where I'm not from California, so I don't know what an earthquake is like. And my friends that have been through some real shakers say, there's a couple of times we'll take a pretty good gasp of air thinking shit's gonna hit. And we might not be able to get out of here. So and I grew up on the Oregon coast, so I'd seen wind and storms. There you're worried about trees, but this whole ash thing I was like, this is a real eye opener.
Yeah. So I was going to ask you too. So, and I totally forgot what my question was.
Sorry to get off on the volcano thing.
No, that was good. Well, we were talking about energy, right? And utilizing energy, and like you said, the vortexes. So how do you take something that is, I think a lot of people struggle grasping it because you can't grasp it, right? You can't like physically touch it, but farming you can. How do you make that into something like executable as you're planting a plant like that?
Well, and I use the same thinking also with on the aquaponics system on spinning that water. So depending on what you want to do, when we're brewing a compost tea, we have a living microbiotic, and it's lactobacillus bacteria that we feed with a sugar. We usually use a desulfured molasses. And so we have a living entity, and we're building the energy in that entity. And then we feed the microbiotics with the sugar. And it takes usually about 3 days to brew the tea. And there's no electrical meter that we can put in there that's going to say, okay, my electric conductivity or my EC meter is at 3, and after 3 days it's at 8, that I've built that energy. But what we can see is pH. And as the pH lowers, we know that we have more and more activity. And then once we transfer that water into my water wagon, which drives around the farm and is what we fertilize out of, I spin the water the other way. And that is expelling energy. And we are firm believers. We do not fertilize our plants. We feed the soil. So what I'm trying to do is feed the microbial life in the soil. And with that expelled energy, or with that fertilizer, that microbiotic life, and we do, everything is fungal based here, or I shouldn't say it's fungal bacteria, it's fungal dominant, not based, because you're going to have fungal and bacteria on compost systems. You're going to have it teas. For the heat, I prefer to stay fungal dominant. It seems to work better in protecting the roots. And then we use another product called silica, which we're all built out of, and it helps with the heat too. So it's just been the practice. And for me, if I get good results time and time and time again, I just keep doing it over and over and over again. So I'm a firm believer of the farmer's shadow. You're never going to have a robot go out and plant a field, and sure, he's going to have his x-ray and all of his crazy lunatic ideas on what the plant is doing, but you just got to go out and pay attention to what's going on. You need to see, what's going on with your plants. If your plants are healthy, you need to see what kind of bug attacks you've got. And, bugs don't attack healthy plants. And a lot of people, especially kids, don't understand the cycle of a plant. As it grows, it's young, it's vibrant. Where does the fruit come from? Why is it fruiting? They don't get that fruit is actually the way it extends its life. And we eat the fruit, or we eat the leaves. We can eat the roots too. And almost all plants most of them are completely edible. But when the plant is done and dying, then, it calls in the garbage men, which are the bugs. Yeah. And it's all part of the cycle. And then, you've got other bugs that eat those bugs. And then we've got critters. Everything is all part of a life and death cycle. And in microbial life and soil, it's exactly the same way, except there's 1 million of them in a square inch. So trying to keep everybody alive and happy and keep that cycle working, you start getting in the rhythm of things. And so if you have a spring crop, like, right now we're just getting out of our winter crops, and we're seeing our winter lettuces and our winter crops now are starting to get really buggy. There's holes in the leaves, there's dry spots. It's because we're at the end of their life cycle. And we're getting that. Bless you.
Thank you. I muted it. We've done a couple of those. I've
You're
muted
good.
it.
You're good.
Like, I think he was sneezing. I didn't hear anything. I just saw his face.
So working, on a farm, you work your life cycles. And if you're going to grow the same thing over and over again, those guys are they're experts. If you're going to grow grain, if you're going to grow just lettuce, but we choose to grow 35 or 40 different, vegetables, fruits, nuts, bananas, and mushrooms, microgreens. So you need to keep a pretty open scope on what's going on. And that way, and we don't close over the summer either, which a lot of small farmers like to do so they can get out of the heat, or because tourist season is so slow and the restaurants are so slow, they don't make enough money to stay open during the summer. For me, we're blessed. I have a Safeway Albertsons account that keeps us trudging right on through the summer. So we just start earlier. I mean, right now we're starting at 5. Pretty soon we'll be starting at 4:30. But by 11 or 12 o'clock, we're all bumbling idiots, and I send everybody home. So,
Yeah.
and it's not bad. Once you get used to the lifestyle, it's very difficult to have a social life, though. Being a single guy, I don't get. I mean, if I'm out at 8 o'clock at night, especially if I've had a few beers, I'm a bumbling idiot. I'm really in trouble. So, I gotta find somebody to get me home, typically, because that's it's bedtime. So that part of the life is cool, but yet then again, it's not really great for social activities. And most of my restaurant friends want me to come and go out and have dinner, and they want to yuck me up and all that. And when I get there, if I get there at 6, and I'm there when we used to go up to Cave Creek for Chef Vibber at Cartwright's. Holy cow! It's an hour and a half drive home, and I'm leaving there at like 10:30, and I'm not getting home till midnight. And I'm crawling to my bed, knowing that in 3 hours I'm going to get up with the shakes because I got to go to work. I'm too old for this shit.
Is that why you're growing hemp now?
Yeah, it definitely puts me to sleep for sure. Just the other day when I was licking the spatula of the honey, I had to go lay down for a couple hours.
That's good. I need to get some Rhiba Farms honey. That's for sure.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah. Yes.
I mean, especially in today's time, so calm me right down.
Heck yeah. Give it to my kids too. Like, hey, you want some honey on your pancakes? Heck yeah.
We got several families that are giving it to their kids. It's THC free, state certified. So you're not drugging them. You're just going to slow their roll a little bit.
Everybody needs a chill, right? Everybody needs that. Yeah. So what's next for Rhiba Farms? I mean, I know this throws a wrench in everybody's ability to plan, right? But like where do you see Rhiba Farms in the near future?
I would love to expand. I'm dying to expand. I just don't have the financial capability to do it. And the little area that I'm in out here too, on this county island, again, the only reason why I chose this property was the well. And a couple of pieces of adjacent properties have opened up and where I could plug my well right into them. And we've got plenty of water coming out of the well. It's 700 feet deep, but I just haven't had the financial capability of being able to go and get a new mortgage and grab those properties. And, I don't want to grab the property to develop it. I want to expand the farm. So I see huge value in doing what we're doing. I've also had the dream of taking over an old 9-hole golf course and turning it into a food forest. But I'm from Oregon. Part of me, I love the Oregon coast, although I don't think I can afford to move back to the Oregon coast. Or I still have siblings up there and a lot of friends and family. But it's a very, very expensive place to live. And I love Arizona. I love the heat. I don't know if I could go back to the 300 days of clouds.
Ooh, that's a tough one.
And I came here 28 years ago. I thought this was the greatest place on the planet. I'm swimming, in Halloween. I'm the only idiot in the apartment complex in the pool. Because to me, it's like, holy shit, it's great here. Why half the world doesn't live here, I'll never understand until I felt 118 degrees. One summer we had 121 and they closed the airport. It's like, wow, this is a little different.
The great equalizer, right? Mother Nature once again saying, hey, you guys, there's too many of you there. Yeah.
Yeah, and I chose a profession to work outside. That tells you my brain power, right? Yeah.
Well, you wear those reflective shirts, though. That tie-dye deflects the sun. I've heard it's scientific.
That was one thing my workers taught me. I was the stupid white guy out there, in my wife beater and getting all burned up and shorts, and now I'm long sleeves and wool shirts, and we sweat and. I got so sick so many times, just puking sick from not covering up and, not understanding the power of heat and what it can do to you. And we have volunteers that come here, especially the young girls that I always get the giggles. And some of the guys too, they're in their super tight jeans and, they got these big giant earlobe things and, they got their phones in their back pocket. And, this really isn't the place for that, but I will pre-warn you, pair of boots, no flip-flops. You got to have a long sleeve shirt or you're not going to go out there and go to work. And, everybody growls at me and it's just for your health. Yeah. So work with me right now and you can hate me at the end of the day, but yes, you're going to be soaking wet, but you're going to figure out that sweat will actually cool you. So, it took me a while to figure that out, but again, we worry and we all know each other when we get sick. I mean, heat, prostration, your workers and if people are starting to bumble their speech and they're doing things they don't normally do, then it's your responsibility to go turn them around and get them under cover and start cooling them down. So we take that stuff very, very seriously, especially since there's only 4 of us. So, and everybody has their specialties and what they do and what they can and can't do. And we had one of our guys fell working in the hop field last week. Part of the structure broke and he took about a 6-foot fall and fell right on his butt. And, and one of his butt cheek was bright purple. So, that kind of shit really scares me because if that was me, I probably would be in the hospital. He was younger than me. So even Farmer Tim took a tumble out of one of his orange trees and it laid him out for almost 6 weeks. So, wow. Shit happens. It's just the way it is. And workman's comp insurance is hard enough to get, let alone trying to pay for an accident. But since we're not overstaffed, when we lose one of us, it's kind of like, chopping a finger off your hand.
Yeah.
Everybody's got to cover for that one finger or chopping a toe off until they get better. And it hurts. So it slows the whole process down. And we have every day of the week, other than Sunday, we work. So there is every day something that has to be done. It's part of our routine. And, we've got deliveries that need to be made and all of that is part of the game. And then, of course, Saturday's the big show and where everybody has it in their head, sell, sell, sell.
This is at your farmer's market.
Yeah. Where
do you set that up?
Well, I have it here at the farm stand out in Santan. And then we're also out at Gilbert Farmers Market.
Gotcha.
So it's all hands on deck for that sell, sell, sell. And especially in today's times, it's our pay.
Yeah. Yep.
It's payroll, it's gas, it's maintenance, it's everything is, where in the past we had the restaurant, I had that weekly income coming from the restaurants and
sure.
We don't have that. Yeah. It's gone. So the pressure's on. That's why I think when we climb out of this thing, it's going to be pretty dang dynamic. Just as long as as people don't get too comfortable.
Yeah. Learn from it, right? Learn, all right, take something from this.
And I always got that argument, how can you charge $8 for a dozen eggs? And I go, have you ever raised chickens? I mean, and I don't eat a lot of animal meat. In fact, I eat next to nothing, but I eat my eggs. And so many people don't understand that what you feed the animal that you're going to eat and how that animal is treated is a direct what you're going to consume. Yeah. And if you're going to consume all that negative energy and whatever shit food they put in that animal, you think you're getting, but you're not. And if you're buying organic chicken food right now for 100 chickens, you're spending $30 to $60 a day just to feed them organic feed. And then all the bugs and all the other stuff that they want to do. And then you're fighting skunks and possums and raccoons and coyotes that want to eat your chickens, and then you get attacked from the sky with the hawks, and all of a sudden the chicken business doesn't look that good. There's a lot of competition for that chicken, man.
Yeah, well, even worse for the chickens, poor bastards. Man, they're just
they are committed.
Yes. Yep.
So and these guys got $1,000 cell phone and they're driving a BMW and they're going to bitch at me about $8 for my eggs.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, I don't really need to get into the whole conversation with you if you don't like the price.
Oh,
$1.50.
we lost you there. I couldn't tell if we all froze up or if it was just you. But we missed.
Yeah.
I think we missed a good point there. You were saying if you don't want to pay the price, don't pay the price, right?
Yeah. Move on and go to your grocery store and get somebody else's poor eggs. It's if you don't want to, if you're not going to tissue test your eggs or protein test it all depends on what you value more. So, and we are the American diet just does not perform well.
Yeah.
It just doesn't. We're not skinny and healthy. Most of us are overweight, myself included. I love my beer. Oh my gosh. And the talented breweries in this town, which that's how you and I met.
Yeah.
Holy crap. And I love the brewers because they love me because I grow weird food. That means they can brew weird beer.
Yeah.
So, and that gets me into the discussion. Now I'm growing my own hops. I grow my own hemp. I'm just dying for somebody to come, hey, let's make a hemp beer.
I want to help you with that.
I like that idea a lot.
Have you talked to anybody about that? Because I know you and I have discussed it.
Yeah, the deepest conversation I've gotten so far is with Matt, who used to be at the shop. Now he's over at Huss.
Oh, yeah,
and
Matt Johnson.
Now he's the head brewer over there. He's been buying products for Huss. And now that his whole world, though, is because and he said he's got a perfect pilot brewing system to do it, but everything is can. Their business is all cans.
Yeah.
They don't have tap room business. They aren't selling kegs. They're selling cans.
Sure. Yeah.
And I believe it. So he said, as soon as this thing opens up, oh yeah, he goes, I'm all over it. And we'll have our spring crop of hops coming up here pretty soon. They're getting ready to flower right now. So typically I get 2 seasons out of the hop pick. The first one, the spring one, will be about 50 to 70 pounds. And then the fall pick is a little bit lighter. It's usually about 25 pounds. So if I can coordinate that with any of my hemp grows and I can get a dynamic brewer in play, oh my gosh, that would just be so cool.
Yeah.
Have a beer made just from the stuff on your farm.
Hell yeah.
I mean, when the boys at the shop came and they did my beets and we did our beet beer, I felt like $1 million, man. The stuff was great. It was great beer.
Was that the Bohemian? That was I think the first beer they ever bottled, or at least one of the very first.
It was the first bottled beer. Yeah.
Yeah.
Bohemian Sunshine.
Sunshine. That's what it was. Yeah. It's like a beet sour, right? Wasn't it a sour?
Was it a sour? No, it wasn't a sour. But it was great. That was the first time. And then I did a mushroom peanut beer with Wilderness.
Of course,
which they
mushroom
called
peanuts.
Yeah, they called that Farm Magic, which was outstanding. And then we've done a couple of the shop. We've done, what was my other one we did? Oh, I think it was the hibiscus. And they also did a sour too with the hops that they got. But it was it a hibiscus sour? That might have been it.
I think that was for your farm dinner. Was that the farm dinner?
He brewed like 6 different beers for that dinner.
Yeah.
He was pairing it for the plate. Yeah, that was really cool. Golly, that was fun. And I had to cancel this year, so we postponed it till this fall. So everybody, keep your eyes on the website for Blue Moon Cafe. We're going to do it October 17th. We've got the same chefs lined up. Cloth and Flame is going to help us put together the gig too. So we'll have a professional caterer in charge instead of me running around with my head cut off, and probably do a lot better presentation than we did last time. But that's a whole lot of fun. I love those dinners.
Yeah, it was really cool because everybody integrated, right? You could sit there and talk to Chris Bianco, and Chris Bianco was talking to the shop guys, and the folks from Garage East were there. It was a really cool. That was a really cool event. I'm looking forward.
I remember when I listened to your podcast, or was it that one? Or no, maybe it was the one that Liz did, the blue collar, and Chef Sasha was talking about one of the trees that I had in Chickentown, and she goes, "I think it's a lychee tree." And it wasn't a lychee tree. So they got and I didn't catch this for like a month afterwards. I didn't listen to the whole podcast all the way through. and she was out eating a very poisonous thing. I go, oh,
Off of your tree.
I go, no, that's not lychee. Oh my God, I can't believe she was eating that.
Yeah.
Since then, I pulled those trees out.
Because of that?
Yeah, because of that. Not thinking that somebody would pull this funky red fruit off of just anything.
Yeah.
And now it's golly, it's they make it's called a castor bean tree. Castor oil, it comes from it. They grow really well here.
Yeah.
But the bean itself is poisonous to eat. And if Chef Sasha was eating those, talking to Liz, thinking it was lychee fruit, and I'm just going, oh my God, I got to make sure this doesn't happen.
Right. You got to call Sasha and make sure she's okay. Yeah, can I help you, Mark? No, we're good. I just wanted to.
So, geez, Sash, don't go picking stuff off my trees.
Yeah. So, Mark, always a good time talking to you, man. Luke and I are both. I can't wait for you to meet Luke in person. He's an appreciative of food and depth of food and education. So I know that's a huge part of what you are. So we appreciate you jumping on here, man.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Before we let you go, I want to ask, what are like a few easy tips for someone like myself who doesn't know all that much about farming, but really cares about getting good quality food? How would someone like myself start getting better quality food?
I would start at a farmer's market. Probably going to be your best choice. And then, befriend a farmer. We all have different personalities. Double check and make sure that the farmer you're buying from is a real farmer and he's not reselling something from a distributor. And then go to the farm, go see how the food is grown. Most of us do some kind of a tour. Obviously, it's not a public thing where we don't have enough time to have people pop in on a Tuesday morning and say, hey, would you go pick lettuce for me? But most everybody has some kind of a tour set up maybe once a month. If you get to meet the people that actually grow your food and start that relationship, it's a pretty phenomenal relationship. And then, start playing with it at home. There are some desert plants like over the summer that you can grow. The Roselle hibiscus is one of them. It's a very, very giving plant. You can eat the leaves, you eat the flowers, you eat the hips. Moringa, the tree of life, another great tree you can grow here. There is some really, really easy stuff to grow at home that will get you right into it. So you just walk to your backyard, start pulling food off the plate or off your tree, and it's great fun. And once you start getting into cooking and doing like probably what you've been doing the last 30 or 40 days, because there's no restaurants to go to, you value, you get into it. You start getting the fever and start challenging yourself to do, it's pretty important what I'm going to feed my kids today. I'm not, even if we are going to do peanut butter and jelly, it's going to be peanuts from peanuts that I grew, which grows really easy here. We can roast them here. You can roast them in your backyard. And the jelly is going to be from berries that I grew in the backyard and I canned them myself. So when you're building your pantry, start canning. Even if you want to go to a local farmer and go buy a couple of cases of apples and make your own applesauce and freeze it. My grandparents all lived that way because they grew up through the Depression. So Victory Gardens were the real Victory Gardens back then, and everybody promoted, and we all traded food. Everybody trades food. The barter system is alive and well. And again, I'm back to, make your house a unit of production, not a unit of consumption. Everybody's going to have $400, $500, and $600 power bills through the summer. Well, why not do something to pay for that bill? Why not make something that somebody else would want? And you'd be surprised what people buy. I mean, you really would.
Yeah.
Even making beer in your garage. At my old place, at the old ranch house, there was a guy who had his whole little beer set up in his garage, and he would invite the neighbors down. He sold cases of beer out of that garage. And it was good stuff. And we all brought back our bottles and used them over and back and forth. And had a great little business going. He was probably earning, not only did all the the neighbors love him, but he was probably earning $1,000, $2,000 a month off his garage. And he changed it up. Yeah, and made a badass beer and bottled it. And I mean, it was fun. It was community. If we can't live on how you think life is on Facebook or Instagram, well, Instagram's way more friendly than Facebook, but how the media wants us to believe that we all hate each other. We don't. Humans are very loving people, and if you don't like somebody, you don't talk to them. Yeah. But community spirit, community building is huge, and that's what we need to do. And I've got a mother with 7 puppies.
She seems anxious. She wants something from you. I could tell from the noises she's making. Yeah, she's like, "Come on, bro. Is this over yet or what?"
Get fed.
Of course, we all do. We all do, sweetheart.
Her puppies. Yeah. So if you know anybody that needs a great Pyrenees puppy, give me a holler in about 4 weeks.
What is a Pyrenees?
It's a big giant white dog that makes a lot of noise.
All right.
They're working dogs.
Gotcha. Okay, she a good farm dog?
She is a great farm dog. She's a killer.
Oh, I see it. Yeah, those are big dogs. Yeah.
Yeah, she'll go out and shit. She eats the gophers, and the male is much bigger. He's all barking, and they're very courageous animals. So I've got a lot of coyote pressure out here, and these guys, they sleep all day. They're just like me, want to sleep all day, and then they work all night.
Yeah.
But she's got puppies, and she's hating it. So a teenager having kids, just like normal life, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Woohoo! Thanks, you guys.
Yeah. Mark, always a good time, man. Always great talking to you.
Any other questions?
That's it, man. That's it. Rhiba Farms. So it's RHIBA, rhibafarms.com. That's the website. Right. Good starting point for everything right there, right?
You can come find us. You can buy farm boxes, hit the website. Definitely, if you want to see the day-to-day, go to the Instagram account. That's all me running around taking pictures of shit. And we have quite a huge following. So join the crew, and then you can see the craziness that your local farmer's up to.
Hell yeah. Mark, thanks, buddy. You know what? Real quick, I want to say this last thing. I love how the whole story started with you growing grass and and a small Italian guy approaching you. Like, dude, that's like some mafia. that's like Scarface shit right there, man. Like growing grass. What kind of grass were you growing, Mark? And who was this little Italian guy, right? Nah, love you, man. Thank you so much for doing this, and we'll talk to you soon, buddy.
Yeah, I wish you all the best. Take care, my friends.
Thanks, man.
Bye-bye.
What a great guy Mark is, and his farm is truly something special. If you live here in the Central Valley of Arizona, you've got to get some of his produce sometime. It is incredible. Make sure you follow Mark as well as A Taste of AZ on social media, and give the video a like and subscribe below. Thanks for checking us out.